welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today, I'm playing Legacy, and at the request of Patreon subscriber Mark, this is what he has called Goblin Storm. This is, of course, mostly a Goblin deck that is very familiar. There are no cards with the Storm mechanic. Why is this different from a stock Goblins deck? And the answer is, there's no Broadside Bombardier, and instead there is Rundvelt Hordemaster, and a bunch of ways to sacrifice Goblins. Skirk Prospector being the best of them, Goblin Sledder is a little backup. Rundvelt Hordemaster, card that had a lot of heat on it when Dominaria United first came out for Legacy Goblins decks, way before we had Namesticker Goblin. We didn't know all this Muxus business was coming yet. Or not the Turbo Muxus, we might have had Muxus at this point. Let's read this card. 1 and a red, 1/1. Other goblins you control get +1/+1. Already a Lord, pretty good. When this or another goblin you control dies, exile the top card of your library. If it's a goblin creature, you may cast that card this turn, or you may cast that card until the end of your next turn. So this is card advantage out of goblins, something that this creature type usually has in terms of like making tokens or tutoring on entry or refilling your hand on entry. Goblin's actually pretty good at card advantage, but this is another way. And if you have creatures that are actually 3 creatures like Mogg War Marshal, or creatures that make mana on the way through like Namesticker Goblin, and a sack outlet, you can get a bunch of mana and dig through your deck pretty hard for some more goblins. And somewhere at the bottom of this chain, there is Muxus, who can splat your deck into play. There's Goblin War Chief that lets all these goblins you've cast this turn attack this turn. Battlecry Goblin does the same, multiple haste enablers, and Pashalik Mons, which, if she's in play, all of this sacrificing for mana and card flips is also dealing damage. It's not really Storm in terms of killing your opponent all at once. It's just kind of a different way to reach critical mass than the Goblin Stompy decks we're used to right now. Being real, it's probably worse. Broadside Bombardiers is the type of cards that can solo a game on its own, catch you up from behind, shut the door when you're ahead. Rundvelt Hordemaster does need help, needs other goblins to do stuff to really do its thing. But we're just trying something different here. We're not saying it's the new hotness in goblins. It's just a fun exploration of the space. All that said, let's get into it. This is Mark's Goblin Storm. I'm on the draw in round 1 and just a little short here. I have 2 mana, but I need 3 to really get anything going. I'm going to mulligan this. This hand has 3 mana. It just takes 2 turns to get it. And I think I'm happier with this than chasing a 5. I'm going to keep this in bottom 1 of the City of Traders. Opponent's also on 6. Let's see what they're up to. Preferably not something with Wasteland. That would be great. Bloodstained Mire. So we're a combo deck. Maybe something like Grixis Delver. Got to take my beats, though. This is the hand I kept. Bolt in the Shatter Skull Smashing. Use it to start casting cards off Ancient Tomb next turn. Probably going to put myself to like 8 without my opponent even doing anything. It's okay, it's what we signed up for. And this Rundvelt Hordemaster is actually exciting. This Prospector plus Pashalik is like, you can ping your opponent, I guess, but it's not actually an engine. Hordemaster is an engine. This looks like the Epic Storm to me. Bloodstained Mire for Undercity Sewers. It could be something like Grixis Delver or some Grixis control deck that's kind of off meta, but as far as known archetypes that play these 2 cards exactly, Epic Storm comes to mind. Okay, so they just played a red source to brainstorm with rather than the blue-black source that was already in play, which makes me think they want to cast black cards this turn, like Dark Ritual. And here comes the Storm. Oh, 3 Dark Rituals in the grip. That's a lot of those. LED. Do we have the Beseech for the clean win, or do we have to Echo first? All right, yep, that'll do. You get Yawgmoth's Bargain, or whatever that card's called. Gaia's Will. You get Gaia's Will and win. Okay, Chalice, Hearse, Mindbreak Trap. Got a lot of sideboard for this because it is kind of a tough one. I don't think I want Fairy Macabre on top of Unlicensed Hearse. We'll see what the the sideboard maps out like. Goblin Sledder looks kind of bad. Not going to shave a smashing. I actually think Pashalik's got to go. I'm just trying to get them dead fast. I want everything that can hit hard. Like Mogwar Marshal is kind of more of a setup card than it is a payoff card. And I'm trying to cut that kind of stuff and really just Ringleader Muxus them with some disruption around. Matron versus Ringleader. Honestly, Hordemaster, just the whole package is immediately boarding out everything the deck's about. Whoops. This happens sometimes. Let's do it. I've basically just boarded into stock combo goblins or Stompy goblins. Hey, do I think Unlicensed Hearse will buy me enough time to get this Muxus into play? I have 2 mana on turn 1, 4 mana on turn 2. I'm using it to cast Skirk Prospector. Is Unlicensed Hearse good enough? There's a lot of cases where it's just not even close. I think I will just keep this functional hand, though. Cavern on Goblin. Ooh, interesting decision, though. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess Skirk Prospector could sack itself. I was thinking, should I exile Skirk Prospector and keep Simian Spirit Guide around for the extra burst of mana? But I think Skirk Prospector being in play next turn will get me to the same 6 at the same speed. They fetched a Bayou. Thoughtseize. Alright, goodbye Muxus. Probably. Maybe. We'll see what they are worried about. Yep, Muxus confirmed. Eat the graveyard on the way through. City of Traders, bummer, because I did find 6 mana, but my Muxus is gone. I can cast all the spells in my deck, just need to draw some of them. They certainly have lines that beat Graveyard Hate. Undercity Sewer is cool. Kind of a slow, dirtily thing that ends up putting something where I could just get rid of it right away. So I will. Alright, I'd love to see a Muxus, but I'd settle for a Matron Ringleader. Just anything that adds damage to the board. Ooh, we're in. Alright, Mama Matron. This is where a Rabble Master or a Bombardier would be excellent, because I can actually cast them. I think I just grab a Muxus and say check. Yeah, I still only had 5 mana here. And I think attacking for 1 and leaving Hearse up is more important than crewing and attacking for 3. Brainstorm. And I have 6 mana face up here, so they know they need to win or disrupt me in order to stop Muxus from arriving. Even without the City of Traders, I have the 2 goblins. Also, Muxus, importantly, doesn't auto-win the game. I do need some sort of haste enabler or something else to happen before the game just ends. And I did just board out like 9 goblins for 9 cards that disrupt Storm. Could easily miss. That's all assuming I even get a turn. Which may or may not happen, because here's a Dark Ritual. Cabal Ritual, just for the 1 mana. Petal, LED. Echo of Eons is the plan. That's an annoying plan, but here it comes. It gets rid of the Muxus that I just tutored for, but does give me 7 other cards. Unfortunately, Mindbreak Trap's not among them. But 2 more Muxuses are. Petal, Storm is 7. Yeah, I'm just dead to Besiege the Mirror here. Chrome Mox, no imprint. Yeah, we're dead. They're just building Storm. LED. Burning Wish. They could even just get Tendrils directly, and they did do that. Okay. A little too slow, not quite disruptive enough. No Chalice, didn't spin into Mindbreak Trap. I think we would have been fast enough without the Thoughtseize, but losing a turn on the Muxus sent me back. But yeah, pretty firm kicking on to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables.
Good. All right, here we go, gang.
In this YouTube series, hosts Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan take us on a set-by-set journey through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a focused deep dive into the facts about a set's design and release, the Magic lore expressed through the cards in that set, Tournament Edition gameplay videos featuring products and Pro Tour decks of the era, an award show that shouts out the best and weirdest cards of the set, and a final grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Receivables has it at youtube.com/thereceivables. I'm on the play in round 2, and I have a turn 1 Goblin Ringleader guaranteed with upside of more. I will keep this. And by guaranteed, I mean I can put it on the stack. I don't know if any of this is going to resolve. And I think War Marshal goes under the Chrome Mox, not Skirk Prospector. Prospector could get something going if the Namesticker Goblin hits for 5, and then I Ringleader, and then I Prospector, and then maybe cast more spells. War Marshal's only actually good if I have the Prospector, but Prospector might be good without War Marshal, which is the decision point there. I'm going to lead on Chrome Mox, because if we get some sort of hero who decides that forcing Chrome Mox is worth doing, I would rather not already have my City of Traders in play when that happens. All right, Namesticker Goblin, let's go. We're in. Hit the big 6. Unfortunately, nothing to really do with it. However, that means I can cast 2 drops, or I could grab Goblin Sledder and put a bunch of cards at the bottom of my deck. Whatever, I'll just dump my hand out. Here's my cards. Good luck. It is fun that we're playing a deck where passing turn 1 with 6 power and 7 mana in play is disappointing. Another Bloodstained Mire. Are we getting Epic Stormed again? A Swamp. A Stalactite Stalker. Okay, this is a deck we might be able to overrun. I've certainly played around Grief successfully. Come on, follow up. Oh, well, I did have the Prospector. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have to lose 2 goblins here. Worth it. All right, Sledder's out. And I think Namesticker should go. Because once again, the Prospector could keep doing stuff post Muxus here. Pretty nice follow-up. Not going to complain. Come on, deck. Give me the goods. Oh, that's a lot of gobos. And we have assembled the combo Rundvelt Hordemaster, Mana Outlet, and Creature Worth Sacking. Nice. All right, cool. Turn 2 Goldfish. We'll take it. We're playing against Black Scam. I think I only want Pyrokinesis and basically nothing else for this matchup. Maybe Fairy Macabre, but even that's kind of mid. Unlicensed Hearse feels too slow on the draw. I guess if they grief me, they just take the Macabre anyway. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go Pyrokinesis on the draw. I might consider Hearse on the play. I do like the Horde Masters and War Marshal stuff to grind against this deck. I think Goblin Sledder is probably just not good enough for the deck and we don't really need it. I see what's being went for here, just a 5th sack outlet. But it is a pretty embarrassing card most of the time outside of Pauper. And even then, the Pauper Goblin decks have kind of moved on from this technology. Pishalik seems dope, actually, just trading off some goblins in combat and killing a grief. I might have to back off War Marshal a little bit, though I do still think it's good. Maybe I got this Lotus Petal. This is a mana source they can discard. Alright, yeah, I'll try it like this. Kind of slow and steady here, but this is 6 mana for a Muxus on turn 2. I love that that's what I call slow and steady. I'm going to keep. They're a discard deck, they're a disruptive deck, they're probably a wasteland deck. All of these things are going to be powerful no matter what, and they're all more powerful if I mulligan a lot. So I will just keep this hand where that represents turn 2 Muxus and hope they can't stop that. Narrator, they could stop that. Grief pitching Grief, 4 cards left in their hand. The cool thing about the Goblins deck is you have these crazy powerful cards like Muxus and Ringleader, but you don't actually care if your opponent reanimates them because they're only powerful if your deck's built to leverage them. It's not like a Seasoned Dungeoneer, a card that I have not seen since Rescaminator became the top of the deck. Okay, they took Ringleader, which means they either have another discard spell or don't see the line to 6 mana on turn 2. I suspect it's more likely they have a removal or discard spell than that they just couldn't count to 6. But I can hope. Costs 3 mana to activate Stalker and kill a thing. Restalker. Wow, okay. Maybe they just didn't count to 6. Alright, I'll take it. Pyrokinesis also. Oh no, they're about to get 3 triggers. Pyrokinesis is still good, but I was about to say Pyrokinesis gets their whole board, but it doesn't. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4... 5, 6. Muxus. Good hit, good hit, good hit. Kind of a bad hit, actually. But, I mean, Pishalik Mons, lots of bodies that I'm happy to chump with. Yeah, like they actually need to draw pretty well here to get out of this. If they draw a land, they could just kill Pashalik, and then things are harder for me, but I'm as far as medium bad hits go, that one's pretty good. Wasteland. I think they have to stalker the Pashalik. I don't think they can afford to waste me here. 3/3 and 2/2 and 2/2. They're all attacking. Okay. I think I just want to go after the biggest one. Or no, I could kill two things if I double block here. And I just take 5. They could sack this to kill Pashalik before damage. If that's the case, I don't really want Pashalik involved in combat, but I think she has to be. Okay. These are my blocks. Goblin War Marshal used to be such a staple in Goblins. It's fallen off because Goblins isn't that slow anymore, but still feels good to get 3 cards out of 2 mana. Okay, we're going to damage here. It looks like they are just going to lose their whole squad, and I get to keep Muxus and a token. And I'm going to do these 3 pings before the token comes into play, so there's nothing to sack onto. All right, looks like they're just dead in a couple hits here. That was cool. Oh, baby. Don't stop the hits. Reload me. Got 3 more goblins. Huge attack here. Muxus triggers. In for 9. It's interesting that they didn't activate a stalker and also didn't wasteland me. It's basically like they didn't do anything last turn. I think they had a lot of play here that could have been explored better. Like even just sack one of the stalkers to kill Pashalik pre-combat. Or even once I'm committed to blocking, kill Pashalik with the one that Pashalik is blocking. That way you at least get to keep your 3/3. They just said in the chat that they're new to the MTGO meta, and they actually picked it up at a recommendation from the Eternal Glory podcast. So shout out, welcome. Yeah, get used to this shit. This build's a little different, as you'll see from the video, but yeah, Goblins, you got to know this exists. And that brings up an important point of legacy players who don't play Magic Online, I think, are just losing so much equity all the time in tournaments. It's fine if you just, want to attend FNM and that's what your goals are. But if you want to be traveling to regional events, Eternal Weekend, winning, understand that there are people getting hundreds, thousands of reps versus all of these different decks every single day. And this is the only place you could really do that in Legacy. On to the next round. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. I'm on the draw in round 3. I have 2 mana, and one of it, like I could cast War Marshal with that. I could pitch one of these Muxies, but I do need mana number 3 to show up in my first 2 draw steps, or else I'm not doing much with my game. Wasteland's also devastating. I think I just mulligan this. Oh no. Well, this hand's even worse. Gonna mulligan that easily. And we're back to my starting hand, but slower and worse. I'll keep it. Put back Muxus, and I just don't believe in Goblin Sledder. I don't think it's gonna be that useful this early. Sorry, Goblin Sledder. Maybe be better if you want me to speak differently about you. Yeah, this hand kind of sucks. The classic Magic the Gathering experience of mulliganing a borderline 7 and then keeping a 5 with all the same cards in it, but 2 less. Got a Tropical Island. And all right, we're playing against Rhinoceroses. Okay. I'm gonna play Shatterskull tapped. I don't really want to lose 3 life in this matchup that I don't have to. They are a Wasteland deck sometimes. The most recent lists have been playing Wasteland, to my knowledge, or at least last time I looked closely at this deck. Didn't get wasted though. Cool, Cavern of Souls, let's go. Cavern on Goblin. Log War Marshal. Much better blocker against creatures without trample, but there it is. Opponent said they enjoyed the Eternal Glory podcast, but they think it's too short. We do 2 hours, or we do an hour and a half. every episode. If you're only getting the hour, join the Patreon. That's who gets the other half hour. It's out there if you choose to pursue it. Okay, I could get BTFO'd here hard by a Violent Outburst, but they didn't do it in the end step. Then they didn't play a land drop. Unless they drew a Spirit Guide this turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not going to attack with War Chief. I'm probably not going to have a War Chief yet. Even better answer. All right, going to attack for 1. Yeah, I wasn't going to attack with War Chief there because that risks it if they do ambush in some rhinos. And it did represent Muxus next turn, but now it's gone. All right, still playing on 2 lands over there. Chrome Mox. Not really what I'm looking for at this time. It does open up any red card to cast Muxus next turn. Cavern on Goblin. I'm not going to Cavern on Ape. You can't make me do it. Okay, this Crashing Footfall suspended on turn 1 is now here. It's turn 5. I've inflicted 4 damage to my opponent with my Goblin Stompy deck. I need any land or any red card to send Muxus next turn. They found land number 3. Now the Cascade Garbo is on, but they have huge 4/4s. Okay, land occurred. I'm going to play Chrome Mox. Do this first so they don't see the 6 mana coming necessarily. And here comes an uncounterable Muxus. Sometimes this deck has subtlety in it. I'm going to hope it doesn't right now. They can't play Stifler Dress Down. They can play Tishana's Tidebinder. Okay, my squad does have haste. Should I choose to use it? I think I just tutor another Muxus here and keep the hits coming next turn. Which means I can attack with this one. And at least try to get a trade off. There's a pause at the start of combat, which makes me feel like they have another Fire Ice maybe, and they're deciding how they want to interact. Firing, the haste homie. Okay, yeah, that one makes a lot of sense. All right, now I don't get to attack with Muxus and get a trade. Oh, it's each other Goblin you control. I thought it was each other attacking Goblin. No, the Muxus would have been a bloodbath. Yeah, all right. Yeah, would have traded off with their whole board. I thought it was just going to be a 4/4. Yep, just each other Goblin. Doesn't care if they're attacking or not. Cool. That's even better. But having another Muxus in hand means I'm pretty happy to trade off if these rhinos attack, which I don't think they're going to, unless the opponent can make more rhinos. Oh, baby, the Muxus train. Well, I'm going to send the Muxus train in. Going to legend rule one of these, but it's fine. I'm going to keep the one that I'm sure can attack this turn. And we hit Matred Prospector. All right, Prospector's here with Hordemaster. The Goblin Storm has occurred. And who do I want to get here? I could get a War Marshal, which sack Goblin, flip 2 cards. Pashalik can win without combat if I think that's somewhere I want to be. I could just grab the 4th Muxus, but having the next one lined up is already pretty awesome. All right, I'm going to take War Marshal, actually, and start doing Prospector stuff. I might just flip a Goblin I'd rather cast along the way here. Prospector. I flipped a Mountain off the first one. Chrome Mox. Playing War Marshal, I do have to be aware that this turns on all the counter spells that I've had off the whole game. This does net 1 mana. I'm probably just going to activate Battlecry Goblin and go to town here. But if I flip something else, that's more exciting. I got options. Flip to Skirk Prospector. That's not more exciting. I'm just going to Battlecry. Okay, if I lose Hordemaster, what happens? Mux is definitely attacking. Battlecry Goblin gets a trade. I don't care about these things. These 2 are the remaining ones. I don't think they can 20 me on the backswing. Yeah, I'm just going to go whole hog here. Here comes the hog. All of it. They're blocking Matron. This is still way lethal if they don't have a removal spell for Muxus. They must have Brazen Borrower or something, or else they'd be making blocks differently. They still go to 1 even if they kill Muxus with these blocks. Brazen Borrower confirmed with the cool new art. I could stuff the Brazen Borrower by sacking Muxus, but I'd rather just cast Muxus again next turn. I don't care about that. So they're going to go to 1 life. I get another 2 flips. And Skirk Prospector did survive the combat, so I can exchange Goblin Token for Goblin Sledder and Goblin Token for Skirk Prospector. Just upgrade tokens into things with other text. I could have stacked both tokens to get a new Hordemaster, but I think with double Muxus in hand and opponent at 1, I'm not worried about it. Nice. I wonder what the 6 cards in their hand were, because that was a pretty slow anemic hand. It was a 2-lander. I don't think you'd keep a hand on the strength of suspend Rhinos and then have 2 Fire Ices. I wonder if their hand was just full of Force of Wills that they couldn't cast there. Chalice the Void, great here. Pyrokinesis is kind of mid, actually. I have to lose 2 cards in my hand to kill half of... Like, I have to 1 for 2 myself to answer half of a 2 for 1 from them. That sounds like I'm just in the trash already. Okay, Sledder comes out for a Chalice. Pashalik is cool. War Chief's cool. War Marshal. It is part of the whole engine, and it was fine that game, but also it's not a good blocker, which is what primarily I want that card to be doing. And I think this Lotus Petal can come out because I'm bringing in Chalice on 0. Yeah, I'm just going to do it like this. Minimum stuff. I have the Chalice, but I have no red mana. I got to mulligan this. Oh no. Now I have no mana for anything. We're going to 5. Let's go. Keep it coming. Okay, I'm keeping this 5. I'm going to bottom Chrome Mox and Ancient Tomb. And just kind of hope to find something to cast with all this mana that I have. Misty Rainforest. Opponent's also on 5. I appreciate their willingness to keep it even. Drew another Chrome Mox. Not what I want when I have no cards in my hand already. Super cool basics. And here come the Rhinos. Turn 2 Can of Rhinos pretty good. Gotta find out how I could follow up here. I need a Ringleader, a Muxus, a Matron, something to flip the script on this 10 power. That wasn't it. Cavern on Goblin. Just play out another Prospector. And hope to draw something big next turn. Taking 10. I'm not blocking anything here. Come on, Muxus. Mogwar Marshal. I just explained why I don't like you in this matchup. It can keep me slightly alive, though. If I block Shardless Agent and a Rhino, I get to survive at 3, which is just enough to tap Ancient Tomb. I'm just going to attack with Prospectors. I'm not beating a second round of Rhinos. I'm not beating a Fire Ice. Yep, that's fine. Was not beating that anyway. Just tried to get my points in. Okay, on the play this game, I'm going to just submit my deck. I'm not a believer in Pyrokinesis here, and that's really the only other card I'd be thinking about. Goblin Trashmaster is a Lord. If I think this game's going to get grindy enough to actually get Goblin tokens up to 3/3 and 4/4. But I don't think that's going to be the case. Oh, okay. Once again, lots of mana, kind of stuff to do. Pashalik is not really the top end I'm looking for. I'm going to mulligan this. Okay, what does this hand do? It has turn 1 Hordemaster, turn 2 War Chief at the cost of a gajillion life. I'm going to try this, though. Bottom, I think it's a Chrome Mox. Yeah. This is going to hurt. Chrome Mox, Exiling Spirit Guide, Bolton the Shatter Skull, and there's my Hordemaster. You have until the end of your next turn to cast the Goblin, so if they were to kill this, I don't need to worry about having mana up. Wasteland, Brutal if true. But if they Wasteland me, they're facing down Pressure with no permanence in play. Alright, I mean, obviously zapping that in is a sign of weakness. All right, another one. I'll put this one in tap. We'll just play that turn cycle over again. Oh, no. All right, let's play that turn cycle over again. Their life total's getting lower, mine's not. Hey. What do you think about 2 Lords? My life total is officially lower than theirs, though, from my lands. If they have Fury or Pyrokinesis, that would be pretty devastating. I would get to flip 4 goblins. Each one would see itself and the other one. Whoa. All right. Here they come. Mountain. Muxus. Shit. Mountain. Name sticker? Wow. Mountain Chalice. And Muxus. All right. That was a full, completely safe sweep of my board. Yeah, there's not a draw that could get this Muxus into play. Aha! I'll continue mastering the Horde. Goodbye, Muxus. Goodbye, 2 mountains and a chalice. I would have been happy drawing any of those. Cycling Lorien revealed. They're playing the game just fine over there. Got a tropical island. Name sticker Goblin. Someday, I have hopes for you. Yeah, I'm just F6 here. Whatever you got is going to happen. Pitched a Spirit Guide. Going to see some rhinos. Here they are. Skirk Prospector. I would have to take 10. I mean, I'm not dead. I go to 4. I get a turn where I can play Name Sticker Goblin. Oy, oy, oy. Well, that hurts. Might as well sack Prospector to itself so I get Hordemaster to see it, or else it won't. Flipped a Chrome Mox, and Hordemaster dies into a Muxus. Okay, if I draw a land and then spike a 6 on Name Sticker, we could still do this. Come on, deck. Land, 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 land. Dang it. Okay, I mean, that's the Stompy life. You keep hands that have a plan, and then sometimes your opponent has Wasteland, Wasteland, pitch interaction, bigger clock than you, and you're just never playing the game. I tend to prefer being on the other side of this matchup, but you can see how close that was. They like just squeezed me off the War Chief 2 turns in a row. Even now, like a mana source, I have a 1 in 4 chance to cast Muxus this turn, even after all that. I don't know. That was more competitive than it may have looked from the opponent's side. The NYSE Open is a prestigious, long-running vintage tournament based out of New York City. It's returning again this summer, June 22nd, 2024 in Plainview, New York. This 15 proxy event has a $500 entry. That's a lot of money, but what are we playing for? First place gets a Black Lotus. Second through 8th place get Time Twister, Time Walk, and all 5 Moxen. At 115 players, a playset of Bizarre Baghdad is added to the prize pool. At 135, 4 Mishra's Workshops. At 155, 4 foil Gaia's Cradle. This prize pool is better than Eternal Weekend. If you think it's worth playing for, sign up for the event on melee.gg or use the link in the video description, and I will definitely see you there. I'm on the draw in round 4. I'm going to keep this hand. It can turn 1 Name Sticker, which may or may not land in a Muxus. A little worried about Simian Spirit Guide being my only red source. Okay, not worried about that anymore. Ancient Tomb first, because if they have Force of Will on Chromox, that's fine, but at least it's not getting Spell Pierce this way. And I have some options. I could pitch Spirit Guide and just, that's gone. Turn it into a permanent mana source. I could pitch Hordemaster, and then Name Sticker Goblin can hit 5 or 6 to get me Muxus off the Spirit Guide. But if I hit 4, I'm doing literally nothing. All right, I'm going to exile the Spirit Guide to that, and I'm going to play my Name Sticker Goblin. Oh, I could have even played Hordemaster and waited a turn. That was probably right. I'll just hit 6. It's fine. Oh, yeah. Now, sometimes you just, play perfectly and win. What can I say? Okay, so we saw a Prismatic Vista and a Concession. I think I'm going to sideboard nothing. Prismatic Vista, if that's a combo deck, it's probably something like Show and Tell that I don't really have a plan for anyway. I'm not going to bring in Blood Moon when the only thing I saw was routes to basic land. I don't know that they're going to use their graveyard. Chalice of the Void's probably good against most Prismatic Vista decks, but Chalice isn't really in this build to be good against decks, or else it would be in the main deck. Like if what I was trying to Chalice with this build was Ponder, this would just be in the main deck. This is part of the combo package, and we're just trying to overwhelm Ponder decks, which we just successfully did. So I'm going to submit my deck, just no changes until I have more information. Okay, stable mana, stuff to do. Goblin Sledder, let's go. Mystic Sanctuary tapped. This is probably some blue-white or Jeskai Miracles deck, based on the cards we've seen so far. Ponder, go for it. Scalding Tarn. Okay, drawing Muxus was great because I was trying to figure out what my routes to a Muxus were off this Goblin Matron, and now I just get Name Sticker Goblin. Name Sticker Goblin's in my hand. I can get to Muxus even on a 4 off of Name Sticker Goblin next turn. And now they know what I'm doing, though, so the force check might not be as successful. Heavily in the market for a Cavern of Souls right now. Tundra, blue-white control confirmed. Prismatic Vista. If this is like Omni Show, I can put in Muxus and maybe it's better than what they did. Narset. All right, I don't plan to draw any cards. Ever. Not a thing the deck does. Swords to Plowshares. Okay, so use it or lose it right now on Muxus. Okay, name sticker Goblin. I'll start there. Rolled a 5, always had it. Muxus, force check. 5 cards in your hand. What's going on over there? Nothing? Nothing twice? Wow. We're in there. And the squad does have haste. I've got another name sticker Goblin. We are doing the damn thing here. I'm going to play another War Marshal that costs 1. I didn't hit a Hordemaster. Disappointing. I guess I just cast Simian Spirit Guide. And I'm going to attack my opponent's life points directly. This should be plenty unless they have Solitude. Sick. All right. Well, sometimes Muxus just resolves early against a control deck. On to the final round.
Welcome to TopDeck.gg, your community's home for everything competitive Magic has to offer. If you're hosting an event, playing for a huge prize, or advertising your events to thousands of players, we've got you covered. Using intuitive pairing software, playing Magic is a breeze. Players just have to sign up online, then scan the QR code in-store. Give competitors the gift of perfect information as their bracket updates in real time. The self-reporting software saves you time and leaves paper match slips in the past. Leave the heavy lifting to TopDeck.gg so your community can relax and focus on playing Magic.
I'm on the play in the final round. Positive record on the line. I can just turn 1 a Ringleader, then also turn 2 a Ringleader. I think I'm going to do that. Just going in. Double Chrome Mox, Ringleader, Ringleader. Hope for the best. Chrome Mox. It's just Goblin Sledder. That'll show them. Show them what league they're in. I'm not in here with you. You're in here with me. I'm playing Goblin Sledder. Ringleader, force check. If they force of will, then Wasteland, I might just die. Well, they do have the force. Pitching Murktide Region. All right, well, we're alive for the force. Wasteland. Perfect pivot against what I'm doing. Daze is going to be on starting their turn as well. Volcanic Island's not a Wasteland. I'm pretty happy with that. And I'm unhappy with how turn 1 went, but I could have just died here. Shuffled the library. I'd love a Mana Source to play around Daze. Or just some card I could cast that doesn't get dazed. Okay, sick. City of Traders alleviates my mana woes and plays around Daze. Fill me up with Gobos. All right, yeah, that's a lot of those. I could have, if I was feeling spicy, tapped Ancient Tube, floated a colorless, and still had a red up with my 6 mana, and then I could have had Prospector or War Marshal in play. But then I just lose 2 life for no reason if they have a Force of Will. I think I'm happy with my conservative line there. Obviously, knowing everything I know now, I would have, rather cast a Prospector or War Marshal that turn, but you don't know everything and get to make perfect decisions. You sort of have to, what's the squeeze of like, how often is that extra 2 life going to kill me versus how often do they just force and win? Brainstorm into a fetch land. More Volcanic Islands. Delver of Secrets. All right. Delver deck. Confirmed in case there was any doubt left, which there wasn't. Smashing can kill Delver. Okay, if I go Prospector, War Marshal, that is +1 mana. I would like to start getting these cards into play. There was a pause on War Marshal. They might have just been reading all the cards that I have, or I'm not sure what that was about. I'm going to sack War Marshal for mana and cast Matron right away. Still playing around Daze. They indicated to me last turn they don't have a Force. So as long as I can play around Daze, and Prospector makes it really easy to play around Daze, actually. I'm just going to get Muxus and put them to the test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could cast Muxus now. I could even cast Muxus playing around Daze, but it costs my whole board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess I'd still have Prospector. What's the alternative? Just attacking for 2 and giving them a turn to figure it out? I could also just not sack my board. Okay, yeah, I am not going to sack my board. Because that line also involves losing City of Traders. Once again, take the slower, more stable, risk-averse line, which is not usually, or not always how you want to play Stompy, but I think in a case like this where
We're just dancing around one big spell, which in my case is Muxus, in their case is Force of Will. They just revealed Daze. Played a Wasteland. We're past the point where I care about that. Took out my Tomb. And this smells like a Murktide. Sure is. Okay. Well, let's do it. Let's party. Attacking with Delver. I'd love a name sticker goblin here. Battlecry Goblin's not bad at all, though. Hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I zap this in, I'm at 10, and I'm 1 on board against their flyers. I think it's worth doing. I'll pay the 3 life. I'll float the 2 mana. I think just having the most mana available is where I want to be this turn. Muxus on the stack. Master of the house. Goblin on a chair. Oh, they had the Force. Oh, no. Well, that's devastating. Force pitching Spell Pierce, which means Daze is still in their hand. Okay, they can attack me to 1, and then Battlecry Goblin might be able to get them on the backswing. All right. That was a really good Force of Will for them to have. Held back Daze. Please don't draw Bolt. Dragon's Rage Channeler. Just 1/1 creature. That's fine. Let's see how aggressive they get with this, because they could attack with just Delver, and it's the same clock as if they attack with Delver and Murktide, and they have a 6/6 back to absorb an attack. They should just attack with Delver here. Okay. They want to put me to 1. Deal. All right. Name Sticker Goblin, best draw in my deck right now. City of Traders also pretty good. Goblin Matron, I think you're too slow. If I play Battlecry Goblin, I have to sack a Goblin to activate it. That's 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They take 8 damage. Patron is 1 short of casting Muxus this turn. Just 1 Goblin away. Yeah, Battlecry Goblin has to attack to get the pack tactics. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was short of 6 anyway. Yeah, attack for 11. They don't even need to block, honestly. And the Daze is still in the mix too, so it actually cost me another Goblin. Okay, yep. Oh, that Force of Will. And they must have been patient about that because they drew Daze the turn before it. So they either didn't force the Ringleader on purpose, or they drew that Force in between the Ringleader and the Muxus. Good stuff. Unlicensed Hearse comes in. Pyrokinesis is probably good enough. Maybe not in high numbers, but I do want it. Petal, Sledder. Pashalik seems kind of low impact here, though she's a great way to flip a race. Hordemaster, having a Lord is nice, but I don't know if grinding versus removal spells is really what I'm about here. And Mogwar Marshal doesn't block anything in their deck. Yeah, I'll try it like this. That was a tight one. Yuck. No real mana sources. Mulligan this one. All mana sources, no real plan. Oh no, going to 5 against Delver. I hate it. But we're good doing it. Okay. Keep. I think I have to get rid of Pyrokinesis and City of Traders. Oh, I hate losing mana here, especially the pain-free mana. Do I need to turn 1 on Licensed Hearse? I could just play Prospector and surprise him with the Hearse later. It's not Reanimator. It's kind of a slow thing. Maybe in that case, I could have kept the City of Traders. A land go from them. I've got an Ancient Tomb. I'm going to attack for 1. Unlicensed Hearse. This is my only real answer to Murktide Regent. Just don't let it be in play in the first place. No Pyroblast in this deck. Pyrokinesis doesn't kill that thing under most circumstances. No Sting Scourger. They are fetching in response. Okay, a Brainstorm to see how much they care about this, or to find an answer to it. We're in there. I'm hitting the graveyard immediately. Okay, well, that's in. That takes some pressure off the scariest card in the matchup, which is Murktide Regent. I don't mind a Wasteland here. I have more where that came from. I have 6 mana to cast Muxus with, if I'm willing to just shove it into Daze. Okay, fetch, then Brainstorm. Probably had to do that to shuffle away the cards that were already there from the my turn Brainstorm. We've at least put them off balance a little bit with weird Brainstorm decisions. Not that that's going to win a game on its own after a mull to 5 where I can't cast the spell in my hand. Bobble. I can cast that spell. I can't activate it. Well, I can. It would just cost me Skirk Prospector, which is not something I'm interested in. I'm just going to go to combat with Skirk Prospector.
I play my backup Ancient Tomb, get this embarrassing second main Battlecry Goblin in here. I've been on the other side enough to know that this is exactly where you want to have a Stompy deck as a Goblins deck, or as a Delver Tempo deck. I've barely applied any pressure. My mana's coming out of Ancient Tombs. I'm killing myself just to put Grizzly Bears into play. And you've still got 7 cards in your hand. Didn't even bother to correct Mishra's Bauble. Just like, nah, I'm good with the cards I have. I suspect they have the entire game already mapped out in their hand, and that I'm not favored in it. Now it's time to bobble me. They have almost as much information as I do about my hand at this point. So that was a fetch, bobble you, cast no spells. Cavern of Souls. Oh my god! I was goofing, but I actually had it. Alright, Cavern of Souls. Goblin. My last card in hand is a Goblin. It's this Goblin. Not a bad one. I'm going to go to beginning of combat and see if they want to lightning bolt this. Alright, didn't lightning bolt it. Attack it for 5. If they had gone after War Chief, I could have crewed on Licensed Hearse and sacked it and activated Battlecry Goblin for a giant hit. Well, they flipped Lightning Bolt Wasteland off of this mid-combat questing druid. Okay, the Lightning Bolt, one step of the turn later than I was hoping that they would have it. I can lose 2 life to keep 2 damage flowing, and I think that's worth doing. Let's activate Battlecry Goblin here. Unfortunately, the Wasteland takes out this cavern that I worked so hard to will to the top of my deck. But if they play Wasteland, it means they're not playing Questing Druid, because that's a green card. Wasteland happens. Cavern of Souls is gone. So is my second red source. 3 mana in the pool. Meltdown my Hearse. Alright, I mean, that's annoying. Come on, deck. Good card. Name Sticker Goblin's probably my best draw here. Shatter Skull Smashing. Okay. If I zap this in and go to 9, and then tap Ancient Tomb and go to 7, I can actually Battlecry twice, which gets me into Pack Tactics. Alright. Fudge me up. Here we go. Activate this. Activate this. Attack. I'm actually 1 short here of lethal, because I can sack the Goblin token and activate this again, which would turn my 8-point attack into a 9-point attack. Bummer. That was a tight one, but they are going to have to sweep this up, because now I've gone kind of wide here. Just 7 cards in their hand, don't worry. I'm sure it's nothing. We got an, oh, you can activate that more than once each turn. Yes, yes I can. It's quite good. Battlecry Goblin. From the hallowed halls of AFR draft straight into Legacy, because it's such an insane mana sink. Uh-oh, Tropical Island. A creature now exists if they want one to. I just happened to glance over at the deck stats and information area. 51 cards in my deck, which means I've used 9 cards to do all this. Opponent has 40 cards in their deck, which means they've seen 20 cards this game to my 9. That's what cantrip decks do. Just so sick. Okay, if this Brainstorm finds a Lightning Bolt, I have probably lost. If it doesn't, I've probably won. That's the state of things right now. Delver of Secrets. Okay, I can beat that one. I just have to activate Battlecry Goblin, and I win. Simian Spirit Guide. Beginning of combat. Activate this. Just want to make sure I can get the Pack Tactics. Activate it again. They would need something like, I don't even know. I'm trying to think of a card they could have that would actually be in their deck, and I can't think of any. That would save them here. And I have a surprise bonus activation because of the Spirit Guide. All right, yeah, I mean, I felt really bad about that game the entire time, but just sticking a mana sink to dump my 6 mana that was doing nothing else into feels pretty good. Okay, they brought on Meltdown, which does kill a Hearse and Chrome Mox, just have to be aware of it, but I didn't bring in my Chalices, so I don't have to think about pivoting back off of that. I think my deck is where I want it. Let's just keep a good hand. Powerful 7 with Cavern of Souls. This is not a powerful 7 with Cavern of Souls. It does have a bunch of mana. I will keep this. Double City of Traders has problems, of course. Kind of hoping to draw a different land in my next 2 draw steps. Pyrokinesis, nice to have around. Pretty happy with Chrome Mox, actually.
I'm just going to Mountain Go here. As rather than commit anything to the Chrome Mox yet, when I know they have Meltdown in their deck, I play Battlecry Goblin into Daze. I can just play around everything next turn. Even surprise them with the Chrome Mox on turn 3. Another target for Pyrokinesis. Play a DRC. Play a DRC. Feed the beast. Feed the beast. DRC. Let's go. Let's go. Preordain. Disappointing. Okay, that happens. And I'm just going to take one from Delver and go to my turn, see if I draw a red card I'm happier to pitch than any of the ones I already have. They bottomed. Attacking for 1. And did not activate Bauble yet. Now they're activating Bauble, targeting yourself. They're trying to do the Delver trick to get 2 looks to see if Delvers are going to flip. Smashing. Smashing also can kill Delvers. I could just zap it in and play Battlecry Goblin around Daze, or I could play City of Traders and use this as my red card to pitch, which I waited to have a bonus red card to pitch. I think I'm happy with that arrangement. Right now, while I have mana floating, actually, is when I'm supposed to do this. Pyrokinesis these Jagoffs. Pitching Shatter Skull Smashing, playing around Daze. If they have Force, I'll take the 2 for 2. Maybe I'm actually supposed to Kinesis first here, because then they might hesitate on a Force, because they're not sure what's coming out of the mana I'm representing yet. Well, we still got... It was a 2 for 2 either way, but I'm happier with the one that takes all the pressure off than getting a Force out of their hand and still being under pressure. They can shove Murktide here. It's ready to go. Okay, got to my turn. Cavern of Souls. Cavern on Goblin. One more time before this league's over. A very good Goblin to resolve right now. Refill this hand. Cause chaos. They could have Stifle, I guess. That's in and out of decks, but it's not that common. Namesticker Warchief Prospector. Ding. I could Chrome Mox Spirit Guide activate Battlecry Goblin to get a token right now, but I think that's not worth the 2 cards. Seeking a Beast now. Hit Force of Will Murktide Regent, sure. Well, Murktide's coming. Oh lord, it's coming. But I intend to shit out my hand and have an insane Battlecry Goblin turn next turn. Because this Force of Will is going to burn off. There's not going to be a target for that. They play Murktide, they have a giant creature, and then I just spew out off Namesticker Goblin. Fetch, they're down to 14. They could go Questing Druid, land Murktide, and have a 2-2 and a big 6-6. They need a land in their hand for that play to make sense. Okay. It's just the Murktide as a 4-4. Oh, what? I thought Delvers were cantrips. My brain just didn't register that I killed 2 creatures already. Yeah, this is a 4-4. This isn't even a real creature. This thing sucks. I could Pyrokinesis this. Awesome. Okie dokie. Let's see how far we can go this turn. Ancient Tomb gives me more gas next turn at the cost of life points, but they just played a 4-4 Murktide Regent. I'm going to Namesticker through the uncounterable bubble. They could bolt it, but I actually think Battlecry Goblin's more important than this burst of mana if they have a bolt to cast. Okay, they are bolting that. They don't know that I can still do other stuff this turn. I can play Skirk Prospector and then just gear up for next turn. I could pay for a Daze here. This is kind of bait. Cool. Exile Spirit Guide, pay for this. Now there's a tropical island in their hand. Double Daze, okay. That worked out really well. Just got set back 2 lands. I'm cool with that. The 4-4 is an issue, but they need to... They have 1 spell in their hand and 2 lands plus whatever they just drew. If they bolt Battlecry Goblin right now, I'll feel like I'm behind. If they don't, I'll feel like I'm ahead. Tropical Island. There's at least Questing Druid here to cast if there's nothing else going on in the hand. 1 Volcanic Island we know about. Here's that guy. No way Murktide could attack here. And I hope it does, but it shouldn't. It did not. Ringleader. I'm going to play the city to save some life. Or, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to play the city so I can still Battlecry this turn. Matron, I like you. Send a bunch of spells to the bottom. And I can Battlecry and attack with my Ringleaders. One of them dies. Oh, this has to attack. Damn it. I forgot. I just read this card.
Yeah, all right, that was just bad. I should have just not done that and passed the turn. I thought I was going to get a Goblin. But as we all know, reading the card explains the card, and I failed that test. Okay, that was a huge spew. I shouldn't have done that. We'll see if it punishes me next turn. Volcanic Island's back. They could have 3 spells in their hand at this point. They could play a second Murktide and end up with 2 giant creatures. Dragon's Rage Channeler, which is not Delirious. I do have a 2-turn line to an uncounterable Muxus here, if nothing else better presents itself. They're thinking about attacking now. It's not that bad of an idea. It would be a bad idea if I still had 2 ring leaders, but I don't. They are taking the attack, it seems. Oh, they backed off, changed their mind. Okay, cool. I actually prefer them not attacking here because... Ooh, all right, well, I was going to say Name Sticker Goblins, my better thing. I'll finish that thought. I prefer them not attacking because I have this 2-turn line to a Muxus. I'm actually just going to shove Name Sticker here and see what they say about it. Because this could be worth a force, could draw out a bolt. Unlike last game where they bolted the Name Sticker when I think Battlecry Goblin was the more important card, I actually think Name Sticker is huge here. Okay, Force of Will, Pitching Daze. Okay. I cast it outside of the cavern intentionally because what I want to resolve is Goblin Matron. And if that Name Sticker Goblin resolved, I would have filtered mana into Matron and done something different. So I got a 13. They attacked me to 9, 6, less. All right, Matron's going in. Tutoring the Muxus. They did just keep a card on top of their deck. I'm going to hope it's not Wasteland, and if it is Wasteland, I hope I draw a mana source next turn. Fingers crossed. Control Goblins is unfolding before your eyes. Or wait, did they mill the days off of the pitched force? Was that a random draw? Scrolling up. No, they did keep the card. Okay, I thought so. Yeah, those double dazes were from earlier. The fight over Skirk Prospector. Okay, I'm going to 9 here. I would prefer if the card in their hand is not Wasteland, but they did keep it on purpose. Okay, the City of Traders is a big hit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Uncounterable Muxus. If I hit a Skirk Prospector or a Name Sticker Goblin out of this, I get to jam into the Battlecry Goblin. Come on, Muxus, don't betray me now. I need you to deliver. It hit Skirk Prospector and revealed another Muxus and a bunch of lands. Okay, pretty bad hit, but Skirk Prospector was on my wish list. I can sack Matron to Prospector, activate Battlecry Goblin. I could pitch War Chief. Okay, that's actually what I'm going to do. I'm going to play Chrome Mox and pitch the War Chief, then play City of Traders, and now I don't need to lose any goblins. I could actually activate this twice. Activate Battlecry Goblin. Okay, what happens now? Because this is tight, I could just die on the backswing if I can't either threaten lethal or... Because if their card in their hand is just like a cantrip and this becomes a 4/4, that could mess up all of my math. And I can activate Prospector again after blocks if I just go to combat now. Just activate on the 2 things that they block. All right, yeah, I'm just going to go to combat. Burn off this one floating. Attack with everything. The Pack Tactics will trigger this time. A giant wall of homies coming in. Petty Theft. That's really good. Okay, so they surveil 1. Do not get Delirium. The Questing Druid gets bigger. Now I have to think, do I want Muxus in my hand for next turn? Or do I want them to not have a... Oh, if I fizzle Petty Theft, they will have Delirium. That's so annoying. 4. Okay, so if this is gone, they block 3, 6. They take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're at 2. Damn it. All right. Yeah, I'm going to be just a little short here. Did I just do the math wrong? Was I not supposed to attack here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there's no way to... I'm going to have enough goblins to replay Muxus after combat. Not a thing. All right, well, I don't want them to have Delirium, so this resolves. Maybe I could get them into a spot where they block with Questing Druid and it dies. If they block one of the 3-power creatures with Druid, then I actually have that covered. Yeah, if I can just whittle their board down to Murktide Regent, go to 3 from their attack. Oh, sick. Okay. So Prospector, Sack, Token, and Matron. To activate this again, now I get trades across the board. I go to 3, I refire Muxus and hope the squad can get haste somehow. Oh, what a crazy game this has become. Don't draw Lightning Bolt. Or Wasteland. I can't beat that either. Guess I could always draw another Soul Land. I could beat Wasteland. Opponent said, I screwed this up and still got lucky, so they drew the Bolt. Great. Okay. Yep. Agreed. Okay. GG. A 2-3 record with Weirdo Goblins. So my assessment of this is, obviously we've taken individual card quality down in favor of this engine that we can have of Rundvelt Hordemaster and netting mana with a Skirk Prospector and a War Marshal. The Prospector War Marshal thing did come up. We only flipped cards off Hordemaster once, and I don't think we actually flipped any castable cards. Hordemaster being a Lord came up briefly. It didn't end up mattering because opponent we just happened to have Hordemaster versus a Fire Ice deck instead of a Bolt deck. So they were able to sweep us up anyway. But having a Lord that gives you a chance to replace your creatures when they die, pretty decent. Goblin Sledder, not worth the slot. I'd probably add a 3rd War Chief. There were actually 3 War Chiefs in the build that I was sent of this, but there was not enough lands to support casting any spells. So I cut some of the spells for just a couple more lands in the deck. The Lotus Petal's kind of weird. I don't know that the 5th Simian Spirit Guide is really what we're looking for in a deck slot. Maybe that could just be a mountain and we'd be happier. I have seen Lotus Petal in stock Turbo Muxus Goblins. Just it comes in and out. I've seen it in some lists don't have it. This isn't just complete insanity. But I think Sledder could definitely be any other card. I think Lotus Petal could be just Unmountain. You might even want like 1 Bombardier in the deck to Matron for or hit with Muxus, because that is such a game swinger. All in all, this was fun. We did some fun little tinkery stuff, tried to get some synergies going, but if I were to actually register Basic Mountain and Ancient Tomb in a tournament, I would definitely have Broadside Bombardiers in the deck. That's where I'm going to leave this. Mark, thank you for sharing this vision of goblins with us. Everyone else, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, and I'll see you next time.